Hello and welcome to this digital photo video tutorial. I'm Phil Hall and I'll be showing you this great technique that uses adjustment layers and blending modes to add real impact to your portrait shots. So we've got our image here straight out of camera. We've used some creative flash to get the nice lighting, but it can still be improved on. If I click back to our final image, this is what we're going to achieve. I think you'll agree it's got bags more impact. And I'm going to show you how to do that using blending modes and adjustment layers. So I'll just close this final shot down, and if you want to open up lauraandcar.jpg, we can get started. What I'm going to do is just maximize this so we've got a clearer view of what we're doing, and I'm going to bring up my layers palette to begin with. I'm just going to hit F7 on my keyboard and you should have your layers palette pop up. As you can see, we've just got this single background layer for now, but that's going to grow as we progress through the tutorial. The first thing I want to do is darken down the background so our subject stands out even more. So what I'm going to do is go over to the toolbox, select the lasso tool. If you can't see it, sometimes hidden under these other two tools, but just click on it and we've got our lasso tool, and I'm going to just make a quick rough selection of these trees around here. Just running round and then release. And you see we've got these marching ants running round, noting our selection. So I want to feather our selection, so when we make any adjustments we've got a smooth graduation between the two stages. I'm using CS3, so I'm going to go to Refine Edge to get my feather. It will be the same for CS4. If you're using an earlier version of Photoshop, all you have to do is go to Select and then down to Feather. The feather I'm going to go for is around about 100 pixels. So once that's selected and keyed in, hit OK, and we've got our feathered selection. You can see that selection just smooths off. Okay, with that done, I'm going to just bring the layers palette up a bit more so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to click on this icon here, which is a Create New Feather Adjustment Layer. I'm going to click on it, and then from the drop down menu, I'm going to select Levels. Right, I'm just going to move this down so I can see the adjustments I'm going to make to the sky. What I'm going to do is select this middle arrow underneath the histogram. I'm going to drag it to the right hand side. That's just going to darken that background down nicely. Probably too much. Round about there, I'm going to click back preview to see what we've done. Yeah, that's looking a lot better. Okay, so with that done, I'm going to hit OK and then click back on our background layer. Just going to move this layers palette out of the way, because what I'm going to do now is make a selection of the foreground. So I'm just going to quickly run round there, down, around and back up. I've got our marching ants running around there, so again I'm going to feather this because I just want to lighten this area and just boost the contrast a tad. So I'm going to go to Refine Edge, Feather again. If you're using an earlier version as before, just go to Select Feather, hit OK, and we've got our feathered selection there. Making sure I've got the background layer selected because this is the adjustment I want to do, or place the adjustment there. I want to click on this Create New Feather Adjustment Layer. I'm going to go to Levels again, and the histogram is slightly different, so what I'm going to do to lighten it is just drag this right hand arrow inwards until it meets the histogram. You can see this patch of foreground lighten, and if I drag this central arrow inwards to the right, you'll see the contrast just boosts up quite nicely there. If I click back off preview, yeah, that's just pepped it up nicely. Okay, I'm going to hit OK. Right, I think we can start making our more dramatic changes to the shot. Just going to drag out the thumbnails on the layers palette so you can see them a bit clearer. Probably drag it down a bit more. I'm going to click back on the background layer, and I'm going to go down to Create New Feather Adjustment Layer. Rather strangely, I'm going to select black and white. If I click on it, if you're using an earlier version of Photoshop, you can do the same or similar technique using the channel mixer. If you select the channel mixer from the drop down, so we've got our range of sliders here. Our image has gone black and white, but don't worry, all I'm going to do is hit OK. If you're using the channel mixer, first you have to do is just hit monochrome, and then your image will turn to black and white. Once you've done that, hit OK. Got a black and white image, but what I'm going to do is change the blending mode from normal, and I'm going to choose overlay. As you can see, that's made a massive difference to the shot. If I just hide this adjustment layer, you can see that's what it was before, and that's what it is now. So it's really pepped it up, boosted the contrast, and really added a sort of dynamic look to the shot. But we can also fine tune this now. So what I'm going to do is just click on this layer thumbnail, double click on it, and we can control the look of the shot with these sliders. So what I'm going to do is just move the red slider down a bit, keep going, round about there. I'm going to increase the yellow percentage, so it's having a bit more of an impact in the foreground, round about there. Greens, I'm just going to move the slider downwards. Feel free to experiment, by the way, as well, until you get the look that you want. And blues, I'm just going to take them down as well, so you see backgrounds darken there. If I click back off preview, you can see what it's like before, and those changes we've made with our sliders have just pepped it up even more, so it's looking good. So I'm going to hit OK. The only downside is we lose some definition in the shot, but this can be brought back using the brush tool. So I click on the brush tool, and what I'm going to do is select this layer mask thumbnail. So make sure you've got that selected. Make sure you've got black as your foreground colour, and you want a brush size of around about 100 pixels. Mine's a bit too big at the moment, so I'm going to quickly and easily just reduce the size of that using the left square brackets key, and you'll see that drop down to 100 pixels. You can use the right square brackets key to increase this, and I'm going to choose an opacity of 50% or thereabouts. I might just come down a little bit, just for a bit more control. Then all I'm going to do is just brush in on the leg ever so slightly, and you see we get that definition back. So while it's had a nice effect, the rest of the shot was still maintaining that detail. I'll probably just run into the jacket as well. As you can see, those are our changes on our layer mask. It's just letting the underlying layer come through. Okay, so I'm going to click back on my background layer, and I'm going to repeat this stage again. I'm going to create a new filler adjustment layer. I'm going to choose black and white again, channel mixer if you're using an earlier version of Photoshop below CS3. Hit OK on that. What I'm going to do for the blending mode though, I'll just drag this out a bit further down so you can see all of my layers, is rather than going to overlay, I'm going to go to soft light. It's got a subtle difference. As you can see, that's made quite an impact on the shot. If I just click back, again you can see what we've done there. I'm just going to knock that down a bit though, so I'm going to go to opacity and take the whole strength of that blending mode down a bit, yeah, to around about 50%. If I click back, yeah, let's just ease that off. And again, what I'm going to do is double click on my layer thumbnail icon and just tinker around with these sliders. Again, I'm just going to take some of the reds out, around about -14, just knock the yellow slider up again to around about 110. Greens, just going to have on around about -5, and then the blues around about -90 or thereabouts. I'm going to hit OK, and as before, I'm going to click on my layer mask thumbnail there, select the brush, black is my foreground colour, brush size of 100, opacity around about 43 to 50%, and then just brush back that detail on our main subject there. So that's working out nicely. If I just click back on our layers and hide those, and you can see what we've done. This is quite a dramatic change. I think it's looking a lot better, a lot stronger image, bags more impact. And there we go. So by using adjustment layers and blending modes creatively, we've managed to apply a dynamic look to our shot and make it really stand out. It's a great technique to experiment with on your own portraits, so why not give it a go? Hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers!